What is up? Oh man, welcome back to another episode of Zadvice and Coffee. We got the lo-fi coming on at just the right temperature. I'm feeling good on this wonderful Christmas Eve. It is December 24th, 2019, and I'm so happy you're here. I've been thinking a lot about what is most important for us going into the new year, for me and you, for us, for the community. And obviously, going into a new decade, goal setting is huge, What you want for yourself and visualizing what you want for yourself is so important. But I've also been thinking a lot about sometimes how we set goals and visions for ourselves incorrectly, and how sometimes that incorrect setting of the vision actually creates discomfort, discord, disharmony, disappointment. So I was scrolling through my Facebook feed just a few days ago, and my good friend, my brother, Dr. Brett Jones, put up an incredible post about the difference between expectation and intention. And there is quite a difference between expectation and intention. So I have his post up here. I'm gonna actually tag him in the description for this video. So if you're watching this on IG, whether it's on IGTV or you're watching it on YouTube or on Facebook, you'll be able to go and check out whatever I link to on his social channel, so you can check it out. But this is worth really internalizing, because oftentimes the way that we feel about our lives is the biggest impact that we can have on it is the way that we perceive our lives, and that perception is often a result of the type of internal conversation that we're having. So let's talk about this. Expectation versus intention. When you expect something to happen, when you have an expectation that something will happen, the conversation you're having in your mind it's either this or disappointment. Oh man, I hope my business makes $150,000 this year. If it doesn't make 150 grand, I'm gonna be disappointed. That's an expectation, because you're only creating one avenue in which you're going to be excited, right? If it made 100 grand, but 10 other good things happened, you probably wouldn't be satisfied, because your goal was 150 and you didn't hit it. And so many times we are influenced by different hustlers online who are talking about goals, and we forget that, sometimes it's not all about the goal, it's about the journey. And you can gain much more from understanding your journey as a whole, rather than just looking at that one little piece, that goal at the end. It's not just about accomplishing the goal, it's about becoming something or somebody different through the pursuit of that goal. But if we only have an expectation, we won't see that. Because with an intention, what we're saying is, I'm intending for this or something better to happen. So the example of that would be, I'm intending and I'm putting the energy and I'm creating a scenario and I'm creating a vision for myself in which $150,000 for this business is completely possible, completely available, and I'm ready to receive it. But, or I should say not even but, and I'm ready to accept something even greater, and I'm creating those conditions at this moment in time, right? It's not, if I don't get this, I'll be disappointed. It's, I'm intending to have this happen for me. I'm going towards it. I'm putting energy into it. I'm excited about it being achieved. I'm seeing it in my mind, and I'm not expecting anything to happen at a certain time. I'm just putting the energy out there, and I know that it will be returned to me in due time, in due course. And my intention is for it to happen, but my attachment to it is released. That's the difference. Expectation is about trusting the ego. The ego is what I can control, what's immediately available in my locus of control. Intention is about trusting the universe, trusting, you can call it God or spirit, the higher self, the inner you, whatever you want to call it. There's a difference between only trusting what you can see, touch, taste, and feel, and trusting in the fact that there's a greater order happening, and that you, as a human, in your current frame of reference, are unable to see every single little piece that's affecting the whole. You can only see your role in it. You can't see every other piece affecting the orchestra, affecting the grand symphony to which you're only a small part of. Intention says, hey, listen, Let go and let God, as they say, you know. Give it up to the higher powers. Not that you're not going to assert your will and assert your intention, but that you're going to allow the bigger picture to play out, and that you know that there's only so much you can control within your limited seat of consciousness in this physical form. Without getting too woo-woo on you. You don't have to go all the way down the meta woo-woo path to understand this. It's more than just about you. And if you can get over the fact that you can't control everything, and you only control what you can while you let the world do its work, you'll be a lot less anxious. So without going down the woo-woo path, the logical path to this is, hey, listen, you can't control everything. And you gotta let go sometimes. Let go of the gas sometimes. So then, you know, you think about expectation, and it's really about control. Intention, on the other hand, is surrender. Okay, let's think about this in terms of jujitsu, because it's been 6 minutes and I haven't had a jujitsu analogy yet. Sometimes when you're trying to control somebody, you're trying to force them into a certain position, you actually end up putting yourself off balance. You're trying so hard to control a situation that you're overcompensating for something, and you end up losing your balance and you get swept. You ever done this before? You ever like, let's say that you really want to date somebody. You really want to, to go out with someone, and you push so hard to build that relationship that they actually end up pushing you away. How often does that happen? You push so hard for someone to like you that they end up not wanting to be around you. You push so hard for a promotion, but you still get passed over. You push so hard for a certain business deal to work, and it just slips right through your fingers. Requiring control also leaves you vulnerable to being swept. When you require that you control the entire situation, what you're saying is, I don't know how to surrender. And there's a great power in surrendering. I mean, Bruce Lee, just like water. Now, water can flow or it can crash, But the beauty of water isn't that it's one way. It's that it flows and changes, and by that flow, it can fit in any scenario, The more brittle you are, the easier it is for you to break. If you think about a young sapling, if you look at like a young tree, a lot of times their limbs are very supple, and they're very fibrous, and they're very flexible. As they get older and they die out and the life leaves from them, they get brittle and hard and stiff, and they break, There is a certain quality of life in the attribute of being flexible, or there's a certain amount of flexibility in life, is the way I should say it. Life is flexible. Death is rigid. So if you want to have more life, you have to be more flexible. In order to be more flexible, you can't always control situations. You have to sometimes surrender to situations. Expectation versus intention. By the way, I'm just reading this off of Brett's meme. I'm going to post this meme. I'm going to post his page, and you can go check out his meme because it's great. Two qualities that I think are really important versus, expectation versus intention. Expectation is about Newtonian physics, and it's about linear growth. Intention is about the quantum, and it's about exponential growth. So an example from my own life, when I came to LA, I had this vision for myself that I was going to get into media. And I was going to get on TV and, work as maybe a reporter, or I would get in and do some acting, or I would do something where I was in front of cameras. And I didn't know how I was going to do it. Through a series of seemingly random events, I was literally talking to someone on a chat bot on a website called The Art of Charm. The person who was talking to me, his name was Jordan Harbinger. There were a series of conversations. I ended up at a restaurant eating sushi with him. We formed a relationship. He introduced me to one of his friends, his friend named Gabe. I built a relationship with Gabe. One day, I had an opportunity to interview someone pretty special, and I was looking for someone to interview, or somewhere to interview them. And I called up Gabe and I said, do you know anywhere that I could host this interview at? He said, oh, actually, I'm working for a new television company, a streaming media company called the 𝘨𝑃 TV. Maybe they have a spot for you. You can use the studio. I went in and I interviewed this person who actually ended up being 𝘸𝘪𝑗 Grenier from Shark Tank, a mogul. I interviewed her off of some connections that I had finagled, and I interviewed her. And the producers saw me interview her, and they said, "Hey, you were pretty good in there. Do you want to work for us?" And I ended up working for them for about a year and doing over a dozen televised interviews with celebrities and authors and entertainers. One of those people I interviewed was someone who became a mentor and a friend of mine, Stephen Key, best-selling author, wrote the book called One Simple Idea. Stephen is a business genius, and he introduced me to the editors at Entrepreneur Magazine, who gave me a column, which I've been writing on for over 5 years now, maybe 6 years. He introduced me to my literary agent, Kirsten, who helped me to sell my book idea to Penguin, which was a 6-figure plus book idea, and which launched my career, which is this book right here. I never would have known that me talking to someone on a chat bot, building a relationship, would lead me to a TV show, which would lead me to a mentor, which would lead me to a book agent, which would lead me to this, which is probably the reason why you're watching this video right now. Linear growth would say, well, if you take 5 years and work your way up and do some interviews and work real hard, maybe you'll get it. Exponential growth and the quantum model says, you don't know how things are going to happen, but the possibilities are there, and all you need to do is intend in the right direction, of course, along with the action. I'm not saying don't take action, but I'm saying don't have expectation over the linear path of how you're going to get there, but create the intention and put the energy behind it, and that alone, going in the right direction, will allow you to have the opportunity and to be open to the opportunity where the exponential can occur. It's not always just like this. Sometimes it's like that, right? Expectation versus intention. Last thing is, expectation has the vibration of attachment. When you're attached to something, just like Oakley right here is attached to this dog toy. Jeez, stop bothering me. When you have the expectation that something has to happen, you're attached to the outcome. And that attachment, basically what you're saying is, if you remove this piece, I fall apart. Attachment means that you're putting faith in something externally. You're putting faith in something outside of you. You're not recognizing that you are the source of your internal strength when you're attached to something. When you intend for something to happen, when you're using intention, it's the vibration of trust. It's saying, I have trust, first of all, in myself. And I know that I'm making decisions that serve me. And by making decisions that serve me, and I'm talking serving me to my greatest good. I'm not saying serving me to the detriment of others. But what I'm saying is, these decisions I'm making serve me in my highest good. And I know just by going in that direction alone, the opportunities that I need are going to open up to me, because then I'm in alignment. I talk about alignment a lot. And the simplest way I can describe alignment is when the person who you are on the inside and the person you are on the outside are the same, then you're in alignment. When the person you are on the inside is not the same as the person you feel you are on the outside, there's misalignment. You want to become aligned. You want the person who you are in here and in here to be reflected to everyone else out there. And when those two people, which sometimes are very different, until you can get your game right, when those two people are different, life feels painful, stressful, hard, scary, anxious. When those two people are the same, it doesn't mean that's going to erase all your problems or that everything's going to suddenly get easier at every turn, but it means that the opportunities for you to be your best self open up. And that's only through the power of intention. So that is my Zadvice and Coffee episode 10 on this wonderful Christmas Eve 2019, just on the verge of 2020. A new decade, a new page, a new leaf, a new universe. So a couple things, I work with my clients in this way to create the plan for them to actually have a strategy for carrying out business, for moving the needle forward and making more money and growing companies and doing things that are in alignment with their best interests and with their actual desires. But we do it always from a way of, hey, we're going to intend for this to happen and we're going to put the pieces in line, but we can't always plan things linearly. We'll plan things quarterly and will adjust in real time. Anybody who tells you that they can plan for exactly how a business is going to work out or exactly how certain things are going to roll out is lying. So when you work with a coach or you work with a mentor, make sure that they're not making promises that they can't deliver on. Because at the end of the day, you can create these circumstances for yourself to win, but there's no timeline necessarily attached to when that win has to happen. And so the goal is getting with someone who can lay a foundation for you that will create the opportunities that you need. Sometimes those opportunities can happen much faster than you'd expect. Sometimes you think something that will take you 5 years takes you 1 year, or less. That's why in the past year, my clients have gained over $100,000 was the average per client in terms of revenue added, but 1.5 million, about 1.6 now if you look at the numbers, in revenue gained just from our working together as a direct result of all the things we put in line. And work with a handful of people at a time. So if you want to be part of that movement and you want real mentorship and real coaching to take your business and your life to the next level, then hit me up. There's 2 ways you can do that. The first way is alphamentorship.com/elite, where you can learn more about my elite mentorship program. You can also text me, and I have my number right here because I literally just set this up. And as you guys have seen, I've gone post-social. Like, I know I'm talking about this on social right now, but I believe we're moving into a world that's post-social. In fact, I know we are. And so I'm making my move to take my audience off of social, to get the real people off social so we can have a deeper connection. So text me, 704, well, it's +1 if you're not in the US. So +1 704-343-6659. And I'll post that in the caption for this as well. You can text me, I'll text you back, and we can start the conversation from there. But hit me up. Much love to Dr. Brett Jones. I'll tag him in this post as well. And Merry Christmas, Happy New Year's. This has been another episode of Zadvice and Coffee. Also, limited edition Zadvice sweaters, champion sweaters, coming out real soon. I'll wear those for you in an upcoming episode of Zadvice and Coffee. Much love. Appreciate all the good feedback I've gotten on this series so far. It's been really fun for me, and there's many more to come in the new year. Okay, thank you. All right, peace.